And just for the record, can you say and spell your first and last name for me?
Yes, Cindy Bennett, CindyBennett.
Perfect, perfect. I know students in Vance County, they go back on the 25th. Am I not mistaken? Is that correct?
Actually, three of our 16 schools opened yesterday.
Oh, they
Yes,
did. Did you get a chance to go out there?
absolutely. Visited all of the schools. Yes.
Oh, amazing. What was it like? Was it nice?
It was so nice to be able to see the students and the staff and the families. There was a lot of excitement, and that's always good to see. I think many were glad to be back, and many were glad to join us. So,
Love that. I love that. Well, how excited are you for this upcoming school year?
we are always excited, but I will tell you, this year there seems to be a little different vibe in the air. We are doing a few things differently. Of course, continuing to use technology. We are a one-to-one district, but looking at a very different approach to how often it is used and really trying to look at classical instructional strategies that have worked for years, such as conversation and collaboration and understanding that those types of things with project-based learning, etc., will help build those strategic thinkers that we need. So we will go from classical strategies all the way to the use of AI in certain situations and with certain restrictions, of course. We are looking forward to making sure our students have the best possible experience.
I mean, just you mentioning AI, what's that like?
We started a couple of years ago actually looking at the pros and cons, looking at protocols that we could use here in the district under the guidance of the Department of Public Instruction. And so staff have, select groups of staff have been trained and have begun to experiment with the amazing things that we can do, understanding that we have safeguards for staff as well as students when we'll use that. But it does open another avenue. We believe that it is something that we cannot keep away from students, but it is our obligation and responsibility to teach them how to use it with caution. Yeah.
I know it's probably all a learning process for everybody because it's something we all definitely didn't have when we were growing up in school, for sure.
Absolutely. And it changes every day. So,
And piggybacking, I know you had mentioned, other uses of technology. The cell phone policy has just been in place. Have you guys kind of changed? Are there any changes to your cell phone policy this upcoming school year?
absolutely. Our school board approved last night a policy for students that really focuses on off and away. So we are going to start the year, and our three schools that started yesterday actually started with the implementation of that. Devices, students can have their devices, but they must be off and away. There are times throughout the day when they will have access to open and free use, transition of classes, before school, after school, in the cafeteria during lunch. But other than that, they really are going to be off and away unless there's a deliberate plan of instruction for using them that day. And we also have paralleled that with staff expectations for silence in a way. They're still available should there need to be a call for assistance or support. But we really want to focus on the students and focus on the learning. And that will happen, we really believe, at a higher level if we're all hands off the devices. So we have a good mix. I think it's going to be a little bit of an interesting transition. But in all honesty, I know it was just day one yesterday, but our traditional high school and our early college, the students did not seem to have an issue because they had them, but they were off and away.
Makes sense, makes sense. Are there any consequences for students if they don't have them off and away?
Yes, we're looking at very specific strategies for supporting them and helping them to understand our reasoning behind it first, really clarifying the purpose, and then having that parallel path for staff where we're all really focusing on conversation, communication, collaboration, and not so much a tool or a device all of the time, although they do have their place. We are looking at our student code of conduct and some things that we would do should a student fail to comply. Yeah.
Makes sense, makes sense. What is your message to parents and students as we head into the new school year?
You know, I'm just very, very excited. And in full transparency, this is year 44 for me. I just cannot walk away from public education. And I'm just as excited this year as I was the year that I started in a very small school in a very small classroom. We really want to ignite learning, ignite teaching, and really focus on opportunity because, public education really is one way that we can deliver hope. And that's hope for students, hope for communities, hope for tomorrow. And so it's all about being positive, offering opportunities and experiences so that our students are prepared for wherever and whatever life takes them. I should say, wherever life takes them and whatever they choose to do.
I love that. I know the federal government recently released nearly $7 billion grant money for public schools. North Carolina is going to be receiving some of that money. I want your reaction to this funding being released, and how do you think that this will help public schools?
Absolutely. Public schools have, for many, many years, been highly dependent upon not just state and local funding, but of course the federal funds. There are specialized programs that come with opportunities for additional positions, additional levels of support for students and for schools. So we are waiting for guidance from our Department of Public Instruction to make sure that we are using those funds with the highest level of efficiency, making sure that we're impacting instruction. It's not just about hiring people. We know that programs and people do not necessarily always fix a concern. But we know they certainly can be very helpful to us as we're reaching out, for example, to help our English learners learn a new language, or as they help us with our families who migrate around for agricultural purposes, or also funds that would allow us to make sure that our teachers are well trained and can continue to advance their professional growth and development. So we're excited. We have plans in place for really a narrow focus on those things that would be most impactful for our students.
Amazing. Well, Superintendent Bennett, you answered all of my questions perfectly. Is there anything else that you want to add that we didn't touch on?
I would just simply like to say Vance County Schools is a great place to work. It's a great community to live in. Our families, our businesses are so supportive of us. We have volunteers already coming into the building. We have businesses calling and saying, what can we do? How can we support you? In an environment like that, we have so much to look forward to this year. And in many ways, have the tools and the people to make sure we get the work done, making sure our students have the very best possible experience.
Love that. I love that. Well, I want to get to the second part of our interview because we're really trying to get to know our superintendents. So I'm going to ask you 5 questions. They're super easy, super fun. And
Okay.
I'd love to get your response to them. So my first question, what makes you want to get into education?
I'm one of 7 children. And I was child number 3. And so it was always my job to teach the others, the older and the younger. So I started very early in life, mimicking the great teachers that I had, and was very fortunate and blessed to experience through my educational career. So early on, I knew my heart was in teaching.
I love that. I love that. And you've had a long history of being in education, which is amazing. My second question, coffee, tea, or soda, what can't you live without?
Diet Mountain Dew.
Oh,
It is my obsession. And yeah, it keeps me going. Yes, from early morning to late evening.
love that. Okay, if you could have one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Wow. I would probably say any dessert.
Oh, do you have a
Yes.
favorite dessert?
Oh, my mom's pound cake. She makes the most delicious Southern pound cake. Yes, I could live off of that. Pound cake, Diet Mountain Dew, I'm good to go.
I love it. Great combination. What would you say, what or who is your biggest motivation?
Children and grandchildren, when I look at them, um, I really want to be able to be a small part of enhancing and continuing to support education because public education, education at large, that's the game changer for every human being. I really believe that. So when I when I look at them and I see the children, as I was at E.M. Rollins early this morning and seeing the very small children, kindergarten, first and second graders, as they were walking in, I just saw in their face hope. I saw in their faces opportunity, and I want that for every child that we have in this district as much as I want it for my own grandchildren. Yes.
That's amazing. Ah, great answer. Well, when you are outside of the office, do you have any hobbies?
I love to garden. I live on a farm, and so we have lots of places for plants and flowers to grow. And I really enjoy, being outside. Yeah, those are just anything outside.
Love that. Dr. Bennett, you answered all of my questions perfectly. Thank you so, so much for taking the time to do this interview with me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Well, I will let you know when this airs, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
You do as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.